Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with some more Phyrexia All Will Be One action, and today I have a deck that I'm calling Emperor's New Sword because, well, we're trying to play both Wandering Emperors, some of the best planeswalkers. White's a very dominant color in Standard right now, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can do a little bit of winning with a bit of jank on the side. Alright, so the deck, we're trying to ramp some, because ultimately we have Mightstone and Weakstone to help us cast Cityscape Leveler and Portal to Phyrexia. But we're using also the new Eternal Wanderer, which we're really hoping to make some silly use of the +1 for the Eternal Wanderer here, because we can use it to blink the Mightstone and Weakstone, so we can continuously get each turn draw 2 cards if we just keep ticking up the Emperor with the Mightstone and Weakstone on the battlefield. Or we can -5/-5 on the creatures the opponents are playing, or we could also potentially blink the Portal to Phyrexia, forcing our opponent to sacrifice 3 creatures. So those are all like the upsides. Besides that, the reason why we're calling Emperor's New Sword is we're using Luxior, Giada's Gift. I haven't seen this card in a while, but it's a mythic enchantment from Streets of New Capenna, or sorry, mythic equipment from Streets of New Capenna. It says equipped planeswalker, 1 mana. So basically we can turn our planeswalkers into creatures that grow according to their loyalty. This card works really nicely with Wandering Emperor here, because Wandering Emperor says put a +1 counter on target creature, it gains first strike until end of turn. So if Wandering Emperor targets itself while it has the Giada gift on it, it grows by 2 power and 2 toughness, because it not only gains a loyalty counter, but it also gains a +1 counter, and then both of those are counted towards like Luxor. So actually I think it gains 3. Anyways, we'll see, but let's go see how we do on the actual ranked ladder. I don't know how well this will work out, but as I said in the like the most recent video, I've been really struggling to come up with standard decks here, so hopefully this will turn out okay, or at least will be some fun to play. But yeah, there'll be a full deck pick at the end of the video as always, and if you enjoy arena content, consider subscribing and check out the other videos on the channel. This hand looks awful. Let's keep it. Alright, this hand got much better. Opponent had to stop and remember what the heck that thing was. I don't think I've seen anyone play Luxor in... Well, I don't even think I saw anyone play it that much even when it came out. It's really funny, but it's not that amazing of a card. One is playing Orzhov. But yeah, when we did the video on the best, or like looking into mono green, how viable mono green is in standard, one thing we noticed when we looked through the like standard most played cards is that white's at the top of the list for like overall cards, for creatures, for non-creature and non-land cards. White is currently dominating when it comes to the cards to be played. I think what we might go ahead and do here is draw 2 cards. Draw a card if you control an artifact. Oops, we control Luxor. And draw a card if you control an enchantment. Oops, we control 3. So that's pretty good. That's why we're playing Roadside Reliquary, because we're also playing a fair amount of artifacts here on top of just like already decent enchantments. We're not playing any Bank Busters, which is the standard way that mono white kind of abuses Roadside Reliquary. Alright, we'll be able to get Eternal Wanderer down and then start make it a creature. We'll just go ahead and play out this, and then
Try to best
blink their token so it never comes back.
you're coming with
When
me.
you exile a token, since it's a token and it's not like an actual physical permanent card in a way, it it doesn't. When it gets exiled, it dissolves essentially. Then we'll be able to equip Luxior next turn and make a massive, massive. we're going
Run
maximum.
away. You'll be safe. Remember your training.
Summit 0. Eat
I
this.
taught us
Fuck. Now just please don't kill that planeswalker. This is like the reason Luxor is kind of bad is because it exposes your planeswalker as a creature, which is the most common thing to be removed. But it's really funny. And we also have repair and recharge so we can return it from the graveyard. That's so lethal. It's not even funny. Oh, that's violent. It's fine.
I'll help any way I can. Show them the edge of your blade.
Yeah, show them the edge of your blade. We don't have lethal next turn. If we top deck another Emperor, the actual like 4-drop one. Well, this is a bit ironic. We've run out of card draw. We sacrificed 2 roadside relic berries. We drawed 1 card with this one, 2 cards with this one. Hmm. Bankbuster. Okay, that's strange. Bankbuster needs to be banned. Hot take. It's it just enables too much like grinding and like I don't know. I feel like it warps the format around it so much. A little bit dumb in that regard. So we lost both of our planeswalkers to 1 Invoke Despair. We lost our next planeswalker to Invoke Despair. Opponent gets to draw a bunch of cards. We're kind of out of card draw because we haven't had any more Spirit Companions. Sorin, that's bad. We can get rid of it with Ossification. We can sweep at the board with Depopulate. But we'll probably wait to depopulate until after the Bankbuster creates a token.
Blood for knowledge. A fair trade.
No, it's not. Great. We can discard a Luxor.
Happy to help, but I'm taking the credit when we... We all have things we'd rather forget.
We need to get rid of the Sorin because it's endless card draw. It's another bloody land. We tutored out how many lands? Like, kind of unlikely that we drew land. What is the odds? I remembered that I can do
Let
this.
be over.
There's like a 30-some% chance. We can probably toss these depopulate, but we definitely toss the next Luxor first. I don't have artifact removal. Draw 2. That's what we want to be doing, but we haven't drawn into anything besides lands. Or Luxors.
Drop it.
Sweepers, sweepers. And invoke despair. Despicable. Despicable. We can wait until... I guess I could play Emperor, take it up, but then they could remove it. Yeah. We're just gonna wait until their turn to flash in Emperor. Forgot they could do this at the end of our turn. It's fine. We just want them to attack in, potentially.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Alright. And I'm tired of you, Liliana. You're very annoying. Discard, sacrifice. Can't you do something cool, like create something? All you do is destroy.
Finally, I'm home.
It lives.
We've got the edge in this fight.
It lives. We can one-shot their Liliana with this Emperor if we're lucky enough to have it live. Yeah.
Remember your training.
Wait a minute. We're dead. Great. I should have ticked it down to create a dork. Doesn't matter, opponent. You just win next turn.
This isn't how things were supposed to go.
Ah, things were going so good, but invoke despair. But invoke despair. Funny that, like, I wouldn't have thought of this, but Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is kind of a set that has cemented itself in some form in Standard, as well as several other formats for some of the cards that came out, like Fable the Mirrorbreaker, Wandering Emperor, Invoke Despair. There's a lot of cards that we've managed to draw 3 of our roadside reliquaries. I don't know if that's good or bad. Well, it's good in this case because now we have an enchantment. Awesome. Opponent playing red artifacts. Ah, red forge. We need to remove that forge somehow. We don't have any actual artifact removal, unfortunately. Actually, we do have a removal. It's just gonna take a little while to find or get to. I mean, at least we can do this. But we're about to die next turn because he's just gonna double sack these skull bombs and put like 2 oil counters on the forge, and then it's gonna swing it as a 6th. What? Opponent, you kind of missed out on like a massive opportunity there. Okay, maybe 4 Luxiors is a little bit much, but this is the worst hand imaginable. Shouldn't you be sacking those to put oil counters on your forge? I'm so confused. opponent's missing out on damage, I feel like. We can block, but it's only gonna stop one damage because they have trample. So right now we're just gonna let it go. Let it go. Oh, hell yeah. That is exactly the card I was thinking of. Whenever you cast it or it attacks, destroy one online permanent, its controller creates a Power Stone. Boom. That's one forge down. Just ramp and find your Cityscape Leveler while your opponent doesn't do anything. I mean, our hand was awful. Our opponent just didn't do much. And I felt like they misplayed so dramatically. They just like sacked, paid the 2 mana to sack the both of the spell bombs and put a bunch of counters on the one forward, swing in for like 7 damage that turn, 8 damage the next turn, and we're like 1 damage away from dying then, and they just need to somehow find out how to sneak it through. Alright, this is a good hand, I think, maybe. Nice thing about Luxior is at least gives you something to do on 1. We'll play Spirited Companion here. No, we'll play the Ambitious Farmhand, maybe. We'll play Ambitious Farmhand to like thin the deck, and then we try and draw cards. You know, maybe there's a slightly better chance that when we play our Spirited Companion, we don't just draw into a land. Which is immediately like part of what we want to do is draw lands. But at the same time, part of what we want to do is stop whatever our opponent's going to do to murder us. Spirited Companion, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Yes! The Emperor has arrived! And she's got her sword on the battlefield. Sweet. Okiba. Okiba the Amoeba. We will flash an Emperor on their turn. The nice thing is, at least if we equip Luxor and they oh wait, no, it counts still as a planeswalker. It doesn't lose the planeswalker type. It's just a creature. Wait, equipped Pertin isn't a planeswalker. Wait, so it does dodge Invoke Despair. Have we cracked the code for how to be Invoke Despair? Nani? Is it possible?
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa, and I will protect my people.
Because it loses its planeswalker type if we equip Luxor. So it's just a question of, do they have targeted removal? It's a +1 counter, a loyalty counter, and it gets +1/+1 for each counter on it. So it just gets like a ton of power because of that. And then we swing in. If the Emperor gets to stick around until next turn, we get to use Ambitious Farmhand's transform ability. That's kind of rude, opponent. However, we can play Roadside Reliquary, sack it to draw 2. Nashi? Nashi? I guess I should Ossification the Nashi. Not a big fan of it. That goes. We can hold up our blockers. And we can sack Roadside Reliquary next turn to draw 2. So next turn we'll have 4 plus, or like 1 more land. I want to get rid of the 2/2. Interesting. Opponent has assembled Okiba, Reckoner, Raid, Tron. 3 of them. It's depopulate, it's not going to do much for us. Alright, we have... I mean, I can just do this. It doesn't make too much of a difference. We can equip this for no good reason. Go ahead, end turn. Next turn we cast Cityscape Leveler, blow up whatever is most important. Perhaps a Shieldred. Please cast Shieldred. They don't have Shieldred. They're a rat deck. They're genuinely a rat deck. That is unfortunate. I'm sorry, Rat King, but your rats must go. Ew. I'm sorry, little one. What does Thanos say? Honk. This card is so underplayed, but it's very, very strong. Particularly because it's a cast trigger, so. We can return our planeswalker with repair and recharge. The Cityscape Leveler is going to keep on running it in and dealing damage. And their go for the throats will not work against it. Non-artifact creature. Wow. Haha. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Ah, I screwed this up. That's fine. Yeah, then we play out Emperor and we can equip Luxior, so we have another like 7/7 or 6/6. Wow, this deck is performing so far. So far. It's the secret to climbing out of a diamond. That and our Scoot Swarm. Definitely check out the previous video that I released with Scoot Swarm if you're a big fan of well, Landfall and Explorer. Maybe you'll find it interesting. It's also not that expensive of a deck. I was surprised. I looked at the rares after the games, and there's only like 12 rares in the deck, or sorry, 13 I think, but you can remove one of them pretty easily. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't already have 4 copies of a Scoot Swarm? That should just come with the game, right? I don't know if I need this many Spirited Companions. It's a bit more risky keep. We were on the draw though, so we were likely to draw a land. They're on the play. Scrying. Sounds that come with Roadside Reliquary. Birds chirping and everything. Tutor up the land. The opponent plays out something important, we can just ossification it for free with our Restoration of Akanjo. And then we can hold up Emperor. We don't really need this many lands. Don't let them know that we have Emperor, though we didn't cast any spells, so this is a bit of a problem. Did flip tonight. Now we might double spell in the near future. Guess our opponent does not have much to do,
So rude.
or something.
Keep watch for intruders.
But we ourselves are doing quite fine. We'll spread the love between all of our creatures.
To teach you.
This one does damage this turn. Play this, draw 2. Those are some good draws. Now our roadside reliquaries, if we sack them, will draw us 2 cards because we control enchantment and an artifact, which is good. Oh, this depopulate will do good. It's a bit of a concerning move, but it is funny. And we've come here to have fun. Bonk. And we can also return it if it dies. As long as it doesn't get exiled. You don't have back-to-back farewells, do you? Not back-to-back. Technically, they took a turn off to play Trespasser, I think. Come on, opponent. Do you? They're playing Abzan. It's really hard to see with these full art lands. Or at least these particular ones. Ah, you are a little farewell gamer. We'll take the slow route. We're 1 land off casting a Cityscape Leveler, so if they play anything important, though this looks like this Abzan like control Invoke Despair deck I've seen running around. Okay, that's fine. Because like if we want to, we can just repair and recharge our Emperor. Let's do this. I don't think our opponent's ever gonna have any permanents. It's part of our problem, though.
Anyone who harms my people, may your blade strike true.
We can start sacking our roadside reliquaries to draw a card now that we have a Power Stone token again. It's 1 artifact. No enchantments acquired yet. Will our opponent be able to do it? Will they be able to keep us out of finishing out this game? Don't think that will do. At least not for us. They could invoke Despair. That would be a problem. But they don't. We're doing okay. In cast Cityscape Leveler, blowing up 1 of their tokens. Before we blow up that. Don't really need another land, do we? Hey, free Power Stone. I'm generous, aren't I? Honestly, I should have probably just created another attacker with the Emperor, but this at least keeps this token from dying. And then when we attack him with a Cityscape Leveler, if it lives a turn, they're probably going to return their farewell with their Dryad's Revival. But if we attack him next turn, one thing we could potentially do is blow up their Celestis, or try and remove any chump blockers and go for lethal. If they don't activate their Celestis, they're not going to be at high enough life total to survive. But I suspect they will be activating their Celestis to gain 1 life, because then we can't finish them off. Because as it currently stands, we win, or we finish them off. So if they cast 1 spell, or they don't spend 3 mana to gain the life with their Celestis, The Celestis, if it switches between day and night, which they can pay 3 mana and tap it to do so, they get to draw a card and then discard a card. Or, yeah, I think it's draw and discard, or is it discard and draw? I don't know. But, they also gain 1 life. Or they can, yeah, while that ability resolves, they gain 1 life. Or that trigger resolves, or something. Cityscape Leveler. We can still haste it out. Not quite perfect, though. Opponent can activate Celestis here to draw. Yeah, when day becomes night, you gain 1 life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. We're gonna create a token. And that goes on. The thing is, they can't cast their farewell quite in time. Now that does a fair amount of work. Dude, this is why Invoke Despair, just get rid of it. It's fucking stupid. And it's also why this planeswalker is probably one of the best planeswalkers, is because it creates a token. So at least you consume 2 of the Invoke Despair triggers with 1 permanent. That's like half of like standard meta right now, is how many like times can you freaking keep together like, or like how many 2-for-1s can you, or like 3-for-1s can you limit Invoke Despair to? It's such a dumb meta. They can return their Invoke Despair, but they can't cast it at the same time. Actually, they can cast it at the same time. They draw 3 cards. This is such a mistake. This is why Invoke Despair is disgusting. So disgusting. Oh, thank God we got that. Bye-bye. Rot in hell, Despair user. Rot in hell. That's right. Fucking... Ooh, that feels so good. That feels so good. I fucking hate Invoke Despair. And that is a victory that you could almost only get with the Wandering Emperor and Luxor. Ooh, feels good. Feels good. But like, returning to my complaint about Invoke Despair, uh, it's always a 3-for-1. Like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, why is it a 3-for-1? Always. Doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no bad time to have it in your hand, which, like, most cards have at least somewhat of a bad time to have it in your hand. We're gonna try this hand. It's probably bad, but... Luxior on 1, Ossification on 2. We have Mightstone to ramp into a Cityscape Leveler. Okay. That was not what I expected, but alright. Do you have like Necrogen Communion that you're gonna equip to that and try and like talk us out with? Or is this... what is this? Rakdos. We draw another land. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of Cult Conscript because it's a 2/1 that can return from the graveyard a million billion times. Giada. We just need to hit land drops to some degree. So they are like... That was one of the worst cards we could have drawn. Also, the fact that we drew into a portal is... That's kind of comical. We only have 2 levelers and like 1 portal, or 2 levelers, 2 portals. So yeah, we do have 4 of them, but in total, it's still kind of shocking finding so many of them. Alright, well that was a pretty good draw, but I think we're gonna die before anything happens this game. I was anticipating not drawing into another Luxior and a 9-drop. Believe it or not, that was my prediction. Sometimes you get unlucky, and that was somewhat unlucky. Still in Diamond 3, not bad. The Emperor's new sword charges forth. We probably could remove like 1 Luxor copy, 1 or 2 Luxor copies, and it would still do well. But it's just too much fun when you get it going, though. I don't know. It's definitely a good idea. The Luxor has demonstrated itself as a good way of shocking people. You flash in the Emperor on their turn, equipped it, tick it up, you have like a flash 6/6 or something. Which, that's pretty good. And it also feels kind of good on an opening hand, because you just have something to do on turn 1. Mono red. Not super standard mono red. Interesting. What are we playing, opponent? We're playing oily mono red. Interesting. Sac. They don't go for the sack. I can make you regret that, potentially. Let's 2-hour another land for this turn, just because I don't want to be drawing into land, so if we can 2-hour another one, we thin out the deck and lower the chances. I think we'll be fine. We do have 4 depopulates, I think. So a depopulate would be a really good draw. An Emperor wouldn't be a terrible draw, because Emperor is always kind of a nice draw, but there would also be the, like, restoration of Ganja wouldn't be terrible. Alright. Hey, there it is. Again, we thin our library, and then next turn we get a free ossification, so we can play nothing. Probably will just ramp. Uh-oh. Goro is not a good thing to see. Yeah, we'll take the free oss. Goro, you're not gonna be doing anything here. Roll the card. Vicious Farmhand, play it. Get a planes to continue thinning the deck and ramping, or keeping up with our land drops. The Ambitious Farmhand in the grave. We get a 3/4 blocker next turn. I think this is our best bet, because they can't sack it to proliferate. That would have been nice to draw sooner, so we could have discarded it to the Architect of Restoration. Could repair and recharge a Spirited Companion, but that feels like, fraud. Equipped for 3. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. Because it doesn't have any counters. But yeah, this reminds me of like the whole like we can potentially have it as disguised as a creature, our planeswalker disguised as a creature, so they can dodge edicts. Well, the problem then is how many twin shot snipers do you have? Alright, we actually have a really good plan here that will maybe save us in a turn. Because next turn we can discard Portal to Phyrexia to the Restoration of Aganjo and then reanimate it. So as long as our opponent doesn't have a way to do 4 damage to face this next turn, we're sort of in clear. That's 1 damage to face. That's no damage to face. So far, so good. This trades, which is good. Can stop that one from snowballing too hard. Ooh, that's good. Well, what's currently good right now is probably drawing a card. That's a good card. It's mono white portal reanimator. Whoa. It's really not the intended and our opponent concedes off the portal? We're down to 5 life, buddy. What the heck? Why do people give up so easily when they're playing burn? It's like the most particular thing is like when you're playing burn, I don't know. I guess they didn't have a ton of direct burn. Alright, we'll play 1 or 2 more games of Emperor's New Sword. I am so glad that I made this deck and kept on trying making decks, because this is a fun find. This is a fun find. And we're doing good right now, which means either we're getting like turbo lucky or this deck is decent. That hand's kind of questionable. This is a much better hand. Get rid of a plains in favor of our ambitious farm hand, which will find us a plains. And then we have a draw. Or just hit a plains off the rip. Alright, now we have enough mana to cast our Emperor in hand. That is a bad sign, though. They're using the 2 most powerful colors in Standard. Okay, they're using the 2nd least powerful color in Standard. Oh, Esper. Esper is doing very well. Another plains. Esper Reanimator, eh? No. At least not yet. Started to land. I guess they're flooding. Haven't seen anyone play Tainted Indulgence in a while. We'll hold up Emperor to play on their turn. Emperor, like, it just feels good to play. Though she might be, like, on the verge of something that I would consider broken. I think more like meta defining or like more broken cards would be like, okay, maybe they're just a self-mill reanimated or like self-mill disturb deck. Perhaps we should have done this on Archer or on, well, no counterspell.
Run away.
That's what I was gonna say was
Safer.
perhaps we should have waited or just done that on our turn the previous turn because our opponent. Hmm.
May your blade strike
I guess I
true.
could ossification and chaplain chaplain of alms. It seems like a big old waste if I do that though. Don't really want to lose my creatures. Next turn I can activate the ambitious farmhand's transform ability, which will be cool. We might actually be able to surprise our opponent with it. Our opponent can play that and make it a flyer, a 2/1 flyer, where each other creature you control, or sorry, each creature you control has ward 1. I respect the ward, the ward gameplay. We used this cleric in our clerics deck a while back, and honestly, it's pretty decent for a 1-drop. You got like action on 1, and then you got action on 4. Oh boy, this is risky, but it's fun. As always, risky but fun. Okay. No, I like
Strike fast and strike hard.
parse those words very carefully. Risky but fun. Not like okay. They could have killed it anyways. It doesn't matter that we animated it. That's good. Well, it feels good. The fact that it didn't matter. Oh gosh. This another game where we just get choked out by the fact we're not playing Bankbuster, so we don't draw a billion cards. Bankbuster is so like silly. If you don't play a Bankbuster, you just kind of you don't do much.
I'm Grace. Nobody knows the past better than me.
Au revoir to Fairy.
I lost
It
the
was
battle,
cool.
not the war.
Um, do I depopulate here? This seems kind of aggressive. I don't really want to waste the Seat of the Empire though. We'll just play this portal out as soon as we can. We can depopulate next turn when they have another creature here. Like a shield druid or something. Quasar. Okay, so we're a draw deck. Interesting. That's gonna hurt a little. They draw 3 and each time they draw, we lose 1 life, they gain 1 life. And that gets bigger. So we take a total of 9 damage this turn. Uh-oh. We make them draw another card as well. Oh, that didn't trigger their thing? No, it did, okay. Next. End turn. We got another depopulate, so we're still 2 lands off of, or 1 land off of our, yeah, don't worry, opponent. Apparently we're just found depopulate Tron. Literally every single one of them. We're missing 1. Thanks, opponent. We'll let them keep their creature for a turn. Alright, this is one of the times where like I would prefer to draw land rather than draw nothing. Opponent's trying to choke us out here. Fine, I will use this. Are you gonna counter it? I'm not playing the portal here because I want them to counter. And then we can ossification whenever they play next. surprised our opponent hasn't countered. That's really worthy. They're gonna counter this portal when I throw it down. I need to tie. Oh, wait, which one's... This is the very... Keep this, you can have that back. It's all yours. Draw two. I know I'm being kind of annoying by not playing the portal here. I just really want to make sure that we're in the clear. Because currently we don't have much gas. I say this as I like play out, draw two, play more stuffs. Are you gonna counter our Luxior? No, okay. Are you gonna counter this? No. There is a reason why we have one little mana there. No, that just worked out very handily. We had the Luxior and then the ward cost to pay. Aha, yes, we've thrown everything out, you thought. When in reality, we just held a portal. Hard counter? Oh. Oh. Ooh. Uh-oh. That feels good. They shouldn't have any hasters. Though they could play out an Emperor. Nope. Portal gives us the concede. Let's go. Man, I haven't gotten the one thing that I really wanted to show off, which is using the 6 mana, like, Wandering Emperor planeswalker, the Eternal Wanderer, to blink the Mightstone and Weakstone. That was like the thing that I was like almost most interested in. Alright, this is the last game. Last game, I swear. I hate on my phone that like on the homepage I try and tap on the notifications and half the time it just tells me like sign in. I want to see the notifications. That's the reason why I'm tapping on them. It's not like I have my notifications hidden set to like hide or anything in particular like that. Alright, again, we're gonna go Farmhand first, then Spirited Companion, because, well, Spirited Companion can hopefully draw us a non-land card. And, okay, who made a Cacophony Scamp-like deck? This is the second time we've seen people running around with, like, this weird mono-red. Just need to keep ramping, though, to some degree to get this portal going. Squee. Block this. We're gonna take a little damage, but it'll be fine. All of our opponents showing quite a bit of restraint. We can actually ossification their Squee, but we might just wait and depopulate first. Oh, it's Goblins. That's what everybody's on about. Yeah, it does hurt, but like... They're going to exile a bunch of cards off the top of their library once we do this, though. Because, Root of Volt. 2 damage to the face. Get a bunch of counters on their Exuberant Fuselings, but that doesn't matter. But whenever a Goblin dies, they can exile the top card of their library. And if it's a Goblin card, they can play it until their next turn. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, golly me. Three. We gain 2, and then we lose 2. Alright. Good game. Actually, does this make a difference? No. We really didn't draw into, well, actually, that's a lie. They just had a good hand. Like, quite the good hand. A nice mix of lords and squee and stuff. Because we did have some cards and then a sweeper. It just should have been playing Sunset Revelry, I guess. Sunset Revelry, like, would have gained us enough life where we could keep on buffering until we potentially won. Alright, well, let's hop into the deck list. Emperor's New Sword. I think it's a really funny name. But yeah, we're playing Luxior. Maybe you could go down a copy or two. We kind of had a few hands there where we were loaded up on Luxiors, which is not ideal, but still really fun to equip your Wandering Emperors and the Eternal Wanderers, and then swing in big when the opponents least expect it. So it is kind of like a weird way that you can kind of give your a creature haste, is your opponent doesn't expect you to randomly throw down a Luxor and then swing in with a planeswalker, because they can sweep everything besides your planeswalkers, and then you play out the Luxor, and it's a little awkward. But Vicious Farmhand, this card is just great value in white. Finding yourself a plains is particularly relevant in this deck when our mana curve is actually kind of gross. 3.7. Yeah, that's not very friendly, is it? But yeah, Ambitious Farmhand, I'll just find plains, keep ramping. Ossification, one of the better removals in white. Actually, I would say instead of Ossification here, you could probably swap out like 2 Ossifications or something for like lay down arms. Exile target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of planes you control. Its controller gains 3 life. This is a little bit cleaner answer, but at the same time, Ossification gives Invoke Despair target. I don't know. I think the main problem with this deck is perhaps its curve. It's a little aggressive, but yeah. Ossification, Spirit Companion, Restoration of Aganjo. Well, I guess I should go through. This can exile enchants basic land. We're playing plenty of planes for this not be a problem. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Good for that. Spirit Companion, enter the battlefield, draw a card. All of these cards also work really well with Restoration of Aganjo, which first searches the planes, and then the second we can discard a card. If we do, we can return target permanent card with mana value 2 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So we can return lands and ramp, or we can return our creatures like a Giada. Yeah. And then we got 4 Depopulates. This is to deal with those aggro matchups. Perhaps we should go down like a Depopulate or 2 in favor of putting a Sunset Revelry or 2 into the deck, because that helps a little bit more than the sweeper. But I don't know, I'm a big fan of Depopulate, so Wandering Emperor, this planeswalker is amazing. I think it somewhat speaks for itself. 4 mana, you can flash it in, so you can wait till your opponent's turn, flash it in, create a 2/2, give that 2/2 a +1 counter, swing in for 3 with Vigilance, or you can just wait until your opponent attacks in with whatever valuable creature they're hoping to get damage on you with, and then you just flash it in and exile it for 2 or for -2 loyalty. So this card, amazing, kind of speaks for itself. Repair and Recharge. This card, we saw some value of it. We managed to draw both of them that one game. So we Repair and Recharged a Restoration of Aganjo, and then we had the first chapter, Find Us a Plains. The second chapter, we were going to discard a portal to, well, we discarded a portal to Phyrexia to it, and then we Repair and Recharged it to get the portal to Phyrexia back, which was awesome. Besides Repair and Recharge, we got Mightstone and Weakstone. This card's good. Good stuff. Draw 2 cards when it enters the battlefield, or -5/-5 until end of turn, and then we can tap it to add 2 artifact mana, or spell mana that can't be used to cast non-artifact spells. So this can also pay for abilities, so we can use this mana to pay and sacrifice our roadside reliquaries, which is nice. Eternal Wanderer, this card is good. It's basically a sweeper for 6, sort of. It can be that way. So what we can do is we could potentially just go down to Populates and trust that we're going to also hit the Eternal Wanderers. And yeah, and then the 0 creates a 2/2 double striking Samurai, so that's good. And then yeah, the -4, choose 1 creature on each side of the board. and then those creatures are kept, and all the other ones are sacrificed. Cityscape Leveler, this card is a lot of fun. Whenever you cast it, whenever you cast a spell, or whenever it attacks as well, destroy up to one target non-land permanent. This controller creates a tapped Power Stone, so you can blow up things for 8 mana, which is nice. And then Portal Phyrexia. Enter the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. At the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's a Phyrexian addition to its other types, which is nice. And then lastly, the lands, playing 1 Yanjo, a bunch of planes, and then Roadside Reliquary. This works pretty well in this deck because we have Luxior and the Mightstone and the Weakstone to act as our artifacts here, and then we also have Spirited Companion, Restoration of Aganjo to act as our enchantments, so we can potentially double draw off the Roadside Reliquary. With that all being said, if I was to improve this deck, I'd probably go down like 2 of these, 2 of these. Then, what was I talking about? Sunset Revelry. Put in like 2 Sunset Revelries maybe. And then, I would say like, if we wanted to, you'd add a Raffine's Informant. This gives us another creature on 2, which is kind of nice, but it also can set up a draw discard for repair and recharge. So that is potentially the changes I would make, but that was not the deck that we ran, so I'm going to go ahead and set that back. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps out a ton. Let me know what you would have done differently in the comments below. I think this is definitely an interesting deck, and Luxior was honestly a lot of fun to play, and it was a little bit better than I expected. We snuck in some wins with it. So have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Ciao.